All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 5:02. I'd like to call this special select board meeting to order this 23rd day of October at 17:02. We could, flags right over here if we could just rise. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, for this special meeting, we did tack on minutes of the retreat, which was August 28th. And the select board goal-setting plan is really the meat and potatoes of that as it refers to it. And then we'll go into new business, which is the primary reason for us meeting at 5 o'clock before fall town meeting. So we did vote on that work plan in our last meeting, so I would entertain a motion for meeting minutes of our retreat.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes of the retreat on Wednesday, August 28th, 2024, with a amendment to spell Mr. Jeff Bennett's name correctly, 2 T's, and that the meeting was called to order at 5 p.m.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, thank you, Jeff. All right, any discussion
I don't know, did anybody think they were a little light?
for these minutes?
Yeah.
So, when it was brought up, we have, this meeting is not a business meeting, so when we've had it before, we've either had minutes or have not had minutes, because it's been a retreat, and our goal setting is really what comes out of it, through all of the discussion or otherwise. So, I mean, the resident that actually brought it up in public comment is right here anyway, so to have meeting minutes for all of our meetings is definitely, regardless of the type of meeting, is warranted. So that's what this is.
And under documents, should we have the old goal setting?
Old?
Yeah.
Previous year's document.
Previous years.
I agree. I would amend it to put old,
You mean a list of documents?
24.
Right here it says documents submitted during this meeting, revenue sheets, pothole
used.
reimbursement procedures. We use the old goal setting work
23,
plan.
24 version.
Yeah.
So it'd be the 23 through 20.
23 through 26. Is it 4 or 3?
23
3.
Or just the previous goal setting?
Just the previous
Okay,
years.
good.
So amended.
Jeff, good? With that amendment?
Paying attention.
Yes.
Okay.
Confusing, sorry.
No, that's a good
Valid
suggestion.
Can you just confirm the motion?
The motion is to approve the minutes of the retreat on Wednesday, August 28th, 2024, with 2 amendments, 3 at this point, actually.
Jeff's name?
Jeff's name to be spelled correctly, 2 T's. The meeting was called to order at 5 p.m., not 6. And
At the
to- yeah,
top it said 5.
Yeah, in item 1, it says 6, so he changed that to 5. And then in the documents submitted during this meeting to add the previous year's select board goals and objectives document.
Any further discussion? Hearing none on the motion to submit the minutes of the retreat from August 28th with the noted amendments. How do you vote? Matt?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Tim?
No.
And I vote yes. Holly, please make a note of the vote. And we are now moving to new business. This is action related to approval of EDIC requests for Select Board to solicit requests for proposals for various EDIC contract actions, legal, marketing, and otherwise. So we have the chair and the vice chair for the EDIC this evening, Glenn Eaton and Liz Coates. Glenn, if I could give the floor to you.
Sure. I handed out a document, but I didn't give one to Liz. Sorry about that, Liz.
That's all right.
So the handout I've given you all on the very first page, and it's double-sided. So the very first page is just your agenda, so I just try to keep everything together. The second page is blank. The third page is just from the 30B manual, just the rules for requesting quotes between 10 and 50,000 bucks. Those are the summary of the rules. The fourth page is actually numbered. It has some yellow highlight. On the lower right-hand corner, you'll want to look at page 2. And on the top, it says draft request for quotes for legal services.
Oh, yeah.
So there are 3 quotes in here that are drafted that the EDIC reviewed at a meeting about 6 weeks ago. Please don't ask me when that happened, but it was within the last month or two. But let me go back. The bottom line is that the state of Massachusetts has allocated or provided the town of Templeton with a $200,000 economic development planning grant, and they call it an earmark grant, but it's a coronavirus funding for economic development. That $200,000, you signed the contract with the state, so you're in control of the budget and the contract. As the EDIC, we can do some paperwork and legwork on this. In other words, we can go out and do some things within the budget. I'll jump to the budget at the end, but the gist of this tonight, because you have a long night ahead of you, is we're recommending that the EDIC go out and seek quotes for legal counsel on page 2. If you keep going on page numbered 4 for civil engineering services, and then on page 7 for market assessment services. Why these services?
Yeah, Glenn, if I could add.
Yeah, sure.
It's not, the content of the RFPs isn't what is being requested. It's the fact that we need the town administrator to be able to go out for those RFPs. We don't, the EDIC, we're working on a MOA on how we interact with, I say we, I recognize I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth because I am on the EDIC, and when we get to vote or otherwise, if people aren't comfortable with me voting on that, I'll definitely, we can talk through that. But I wanted to be able to say, it's not the content, it's the fact that they're coming to say, hey, can we borrow your office, your admin, to be able to go after these opportunities that we need to be able to breathe and work as the EDIC before the funds expire. So it's about the RFP process, not the actual content. The EDIC works on all that.
You got I believe it's a cog in the wheel. It's the current contract for the town administrator, and it's on page 3.
Okay.
And it says the town administrator agrees to remain in the exclusive employee of the town and shall not accept other employment by any other employer. However, the term employed shall not be construed to include occasional teaching, counseling, writing, or consulting for others, provided such activity does not consume more than 5 hours per week or conflict with his responsibilities to the town or his ability to discharge his duties to the town with undivided loyalty and fidelity, and has been the subject of approval by the board before being commenced. This is budget season. I don't think he can be doing this. I think it's a conflict of interest, as well as, if you look at the rules of the order for EDIC, each director pledges their loyalty to the corporation. So you're on EDIC, but you're on the Board of Selectmen. Mm-hmm. How can you participate in something representing 2 separate legal corporations? And the EDIC can make and enter into contracts and agreements. They can be sued in its own name, and plead and be impleaded to adopt bylaws for the regulation of its affairs and conduct of its business.
May I just follow up really quickly? So Jeff, I agree with everything you said. That's not the issue at all. The issue here is that the contract between the state is the contract between the state for the $200,000 with you folks. So we don't, reading those powers and duties, which I agree they are in the EDIC statute, the enabling statute, we don't have any power to contract for any of these dollars. You are the one. So basically, we're trying to say, can we do the paperwork and get the quotes out? We can change Adam's name to Glenn's name as chair, and just get the paperwork done to obtain quotes. And then when it's time to do the contracts, then they have to be approved by the Board of Selectmen.
So the EDIC has the ability to make contracts, to agree with contracts.
If
to
we have
execute
money to do
contracts.
so, you're absolutely right,
And the Board of
sir.
Selectmen
Yes.
on December 2022 voted to give that 200,000 to EDIC. That money was handed over to EDIC.
Well, at the
So
very,
now you
yeah,
have it.
Yeah, at the very least, though, we should do this cooperatively. I want to make sure that we have a legal contract between the town and these vendors. And I feel, I broached this, I mean, I could have gone off and just done this on our own with the EDIC. I felt a lot more comfortable doing this jointly with the Board of Selectmen, and just making sure that we're all on the same page at the same time.
So,
I want to make sure there was an open, transparent process, is my
Right.
point, Jeff. But I do agree with what you're saying, sir. Yeah.
so I just think that it's a conflict for the TA to do that work, and it's going to take away from, depending on the Main Street Bridge work, depending on what the decision of the board is for Royalston Road, the 26 budget, which the school assessment, we paid partially out of town savings. We're gonna do that again this year. It's gonna take a lot of time and effort for that. I know there's talk of an override, so there's even more work there, and his contract doesn't seem to allow him to do that work. And also 268A, it's, Mike being on that and this, participating in this vote, indicates to me there's a conflict of interest. This is a mess created back in 17, and it has never been straightened out.
Would you like the EDIC just to rock and roll and go get the quotes and sign contracts? Is that what you're saying,
My
sir?
question is,
Sure.
since you have the money, we gave you the money,
Yeah.
it would be your way of spending it. Yeah,
I mean, we want, again, we want to work cooperatively, and we want to make sure that
I gotta pull out of all of these discussions, and I know, I'm not comfortable continuing either the select board or an EDIC. I really gotta figure out how it is that I'm able to get through these things.
So here's the bottom line, there's a
I'm
federal
out.
reg that says we have to commit funds contract by December 31st of this year. So it's 10 weeks
it's
away, we have time.
coronavirus.
We have time to get quotes and do contracts.
Because it's coronavirus.
So it's not like it's tomorrow. Yeah, it's the federal funds, yes ma'am, under that act, yeah. So I just want to make sure that I didn't do this in a vacuum, Jeff. And that everything's above board and
And I want to
public.
make sure, we gave you the money, so you do have the authority. We gave you the power and authority to do this work
If the Board of
yourself.
Selectmen takes a vote to that effect, we'll follow that. I mean, I want to make sure that I'm not working in a vacuum.
We don't
and
want to
that's
lose,
why-
we don't want to lose.
No, exactly, but I don't want to step on toes, tick people up. I really want to do the right thing here. So that's, we asked if we could be on the agenda at some point for the Board of Selectmen. Make sure we talk about this. Because economic development, ultimately, it's a team effort. So I want to make sure that we're not going rogue. That's not my intention for the EDIC as a member or chair or anything else.
And I want to make sure that we're following the rules, and that we're doing this correctly, and that if we go out and contract, we really have the right to go contract. And my understanding was that the town of Templeton controlled the 200,000.
Right.
Right? And
Yes.
if the town of Templeton controls the 200,000, it's not the EDIC that
Exactly.
controls the
Exactly.
200,000.
We have no
So-
authority.
So we have no authority, so that is the reason, as I understand it, coming to the board to say, may we, can we, with your permission? And if the answer is no, the answer is no. If the answer is yes, great. But that's the purpose of this, is try to dot the i's and cross the t's.
And even though the Board of Selectmen have given us authority, as that Jeff well said in that vote, so we have authority to do some things, but we don't have the authority to sign a contract with funds that are to your company, not ours. It's just that straightforward. So I want to be careful, that's all. And thanks for your time, by the way, tonight. I know you have a long night ahead of you, too. So,
Like I said, I kind of said it uncharacteristically. I said I'm out. I want to give this over to the vice for the rest of that discussion.
Okay. So at this point, I personally think there's too many questions and we need to do some more research, so I would move to table this topic to a future meeting under old business.
I would second that.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion to table to a future meeting under old business?
I would recommend if we're gonna table and move it forward, we make it at our next meeting. Time is working against us.
I accept
As
that.
Glenn just indicated, we have about 10 weeks.
Do you make an amendment, is that an amendment?
Yeah, I will make that amendment.
I accept that amendment. Ms. Griffiths, do you accept that amendment?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In that case, we have a motion as amended to table this to the next regular select board meeting
Under old.
under old business. Is there any further discussion on the amended motion?
Is there a way we can pinpoint when we gave them the money? So we have that.
Jeff, I believe, would you be able to do that research? Pinpoint when we gave, the specifics on when we,
Yeah, it's the December 28th, 2022 Selectmen's meeting. I'll get the
December 8th.
Get it
minutes
and
I'll get
send
the
it to us?
minutes and watch the video.
thank you,
I
sir.
will too.
I'll
And
have
I'd
it
like
for
to
the
get
6th.
clarification
That's what I
from town
wanted.
council.
Can you use a second?
I have-
Yes.
I have a question, if I may, to the.
Yeah,
chair.
it's okay.
Can we go
have a
and-
motion, a second, we're still in discussion.
Okay, can we go out and get quotes? Do you mind if we go out and get numbers?
I would hold off until
Hold
we
off.
make a
That's,
decision.
that's, I just needed direction.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
would hold off until we make a final decision.
Okay.
And that's, the next meeting is next Wednesday,
November 6th.
November
It's November 6th, 2
Six.
weeks from today.
2 weeks.
Well,
That works.
is that, you sure?
I mean, getting quotes is a 5 to 7 business day issue.
Okay,
So
you
it's
sure?
feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to, I didn't want to go off
Answer
half-cocked.
some of those other questions that brought it
Yeah,
up about
and then you'll
Adam.
have a chance to piece things together.
Right.
Yep.
And I will talk with town council to make, I needed a definitive answer, like how should I act moving forward?
Yep.
I'm a go-getter and I want to be able to be there for both organizations, but like Liz said, we got to make sure that we're doing it right.
Okay. Any other discussion or comments that need to be addressed? Going once? Going twice? Hearing none on the amended motion to table to the next regular business meeting of the Select Board. How do you vote, Mr. Toth?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths?
Yes,
Mr. Curry?
Abstain.
And I vote yes. That vote is 4 yes, 0 no, with 1 abstention at 17:20, 5:20 PM.
You have other business, and I want to thank you for your time.
Hearing no further business, I will accept a motion
Thank you,
to
Glenn.
adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn, moved by Mr. Bennett and seconded by Ms. Griffiths. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none. How do you vote, Mr. Toth?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Ms. Griffiths?
Yes.
Mr. Curry?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. We are adjourned at 5:20 PM.